Hey guys, welcome along to another episode of Double Tap on YouTube. This is our final one doing it this way. We're going to be, next video you watch actually is going to be our show, our daily show. It's exciting, Shaun Preece, isn't it?
The big video show. Yes, it is going to be exciting. It's going to be different, but the same. So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? It's totally different, but exactly the same. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. We're going to be taking down the studio behind us. You're getting some new stuff done to your shed there. I'm getting some work done in the background, so it'll look a bit different for those of you who are watching it and listening, and intrigued by that kind of thing. We'll maybe do a little special video once it's all done. Sort of talking through our setups and because I know people love all that stuff. We did that with Michael recently, and I must admit I get so excited about this because people love to know what we're using. You know, maybe not all the nuts and bolts about cameras and lights and all that. Although we could talk about it, but I think a lot of people are more like, "What keyboard have you got?" Because that's all I ever get. What keyboard have you got today?
Well, it's
still the MX keys.
It's so funny today because, you know, you don't need all this special, really expensive equipment. Hey, you know me, I won't buy really expensive equipment. It's amazing what you can do with,
Nothing.
Nothing, yeah. But, I mean, reasonably priced equipment. It's so good.
I find it hilarious because you've got in your desk, I mean, my desk is an absolute riot, but your desk has got like a keyboard and a screen. Is that it? I think that's all that's on
it
there.
Is. And the screen basically is just to hold my webcam up. I mean, I've got a laptop, keyboard, a webcam, and a microphone on a stand. I mean, that's basically it. And it's fine. It's more than enough. The difference for me is, as we talked about in the audio video, is about the space. I've got this space. No one else comes in here, so I can do what I want. I can put that. I've got tiles, foam tiles, all on the walls here, which makes, deadens the sound, which gives me a good sound in here. And that's a luxury that I've got, but it really does help. Yeah.
And actually, I mentioned in the last video about the Cooper MagSafe, or whatever it was called. I can't remember the name of it now. Go back and check the previous video. But there was a Cooper Mag stand. I think there was a chat stand, which are really cool for holding cameras and stuff, or holding the phone, I should say. And I mentioned an Elgato and small rig mount as well, which has a clamp on the back that you can connect to a desk. Now, in your case, that wouldn't work because you've got a worktop to the back of the wall, so you wouldn't be able to mount a camera that way. There is actually an option for you. It's called the Elgato Mini Mount, and it's a stand which has a tripod mount at the top of it, so you could connect your Instalink to that. So there you go. That's an option if you want to get rid of the camera, rid of the monitor.
Finally get rid of this monitor, which is absolutely no use to me. Absolutely, yes. I'm using an Elgato low profile microphone arm, which is just to my left here. Usually it's to clamp onto the back of a desk and come out from under the monitor and keep out of shot. But I've actually got it on a shelf that I've got above me, above my head, and it comes down from above the monitor, almost like those old radio studios you used to see back in the day.
Coming up next on CBS.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But it works really well for me. And locking these things down, locking position down, actually, especially for us, is really important because then you don't have to worry about if anything's moved or, you're in shot in the case of video.
Yeah. I mean, I've been for years someone who always loved moving stuff around. Yeah. And it's funny, the less vision I have, the less I want to move anything. So this upcoming move that I'm about to embark on ahead of the new show is a little bit terrifying because I'm going to completely have to completely remap my room in my head.
Yes.
So yeah, that'll be fun. But anyway, look, today we're going to talk about how to look your best on camera. Ding. Hello. Is this thing on? I hope it is. I don't even know if I'm looking at it. That's so ridiculous this is.
This makes me nervous because we do not look good on camera. When we say look good on camera, we're talking about making sure you're in the center of the frame, making sure that the camera is not tilted or askew whiff, or if there's anything in the background that may cause you embarrassment, Stephen Scott.
That's right. Now, again, one of the things and there's plenty. I mean, I remember doing an entire TV show with a yellow duster sitting to my back left. So it was sitting on I'd obviously been cleaning up for whatever reason. Thought I better make this place look good. It was on the old show on Access Tech Live, and we were sitting there, and I'm doing the thing, and we recorded an interview. And it was only afterwards my editor got in touch and said, maybe I need to get you to re-record your bits because there was a yellow duster and frame the whole way, and I can't crop you out of it. And you're just like, oh, really? I swept that desk. I'm like a sniffer dog.
You dusted
for
it.
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's like you do that thing where you sweep your hand right across the table. It's like everything will end up on the floor, but that's fine.
Knock your cup of tea off. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And then you know, or you think you know everything's gone. And then there's that one thing. You're just like, oh. But anyway, yes, looking good on camera is about more than that. It's about being on camera for a start. And that is something I want to focus on first. Now, we mentioned in the last video when we were talking about video recording that the iPhone and the Android phone have got ways to tell you through voiceover and through Android TalkBack how or where you are and where you're positioned on screen, which is really, really useful. But I want to talk today about the PC and the Mac because lots of you might be using that. Now, on the PC side, there's a couple of different tools you can use. So if you are a JAWS user, if you use the JAWS screen reader, there's actually a built-in functionality called Face in View. We're going to play a little bit of a video explaining how it works.
Introducing Face in View, a revolutionary new feature in JAWS and Fusion that tells you how to position yourself so that your face is clearly on camera. Video calls have become a standard form of communication at work, school, and home. Face in View uses facial tracking points to audibly guide you to look directly into your camera.
Move right, tilt up, brightness normal. Move right, pointing to center, centered.
To activate, press the layered keystroke, Insert plus spacebar, followed by F, and then O. Once enabled, Face in View continually monitors your face position and the lighting level. If anything changes, such as tilting your head left or right, or a decrease in brightness, you are automatically alerted.
Number of faces, 0. Move left, turn left, tilt up, number of faces, 1, pointing to center.
When focused in the Face in View application window, you can also use Tab or the arrow keys to review information such as the position of your face in the picture, the current brightness level, and the camera in use.
Face location, X equals 61%, Y equals 49%. Brightness, 66%. Camera device, 0. Integrated webcam.
Once you have verified your face is correctly centered in the camera view and the brightness level is good, press Insert plus spacebar FO to turn off Face in View prior to activating your video call.
So that is Face in View. I mean, it seems pretty simple when you think about it, doesn't it? And it's so good. The only catch with this, as we've learned, is that and this is a PC thing, it's nothing to do with JAWS or Vespero or anything else. No. There's a limitation with PCs that you can only have one active video source at a time. So the camera can only be active on one app at a time. So when you're in a Zoom call, let's say, you can't use Face in View to check your positioning. That's not something that's possible. So you have to do it in advance.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a Windows limitation. The video can't be shared between apps, which is a real shame. But, you know, it's one of those limitations you get used to. So this is something that you would use before, you know, actually doing the meeting, doing the recording, a pre-setup. And I got to say, you said it's really simple, really easy, and it is. But absolute genius of Vespero to make this a JAWS feature, by the way. Great forward thinking and a great job from them. And it works really well.
Be My Eyes for Windows has a similar functionality built into it. That app on Windows I keep forgetting about. I genuinely just, well, that particular function, I mean, because you kind of forget, oh, of course it can do that. It's got that function built in. It's really cool. So you should definitely check out Be My Eyes for Windows. It has the ability to tell you your positioning. It will tell you, I think, lighting levels and stuff. It'll give you lots of information, kind of like what Face in View does.
Absolutely, yes. So it will tell you, you know, you're in center, whatever else you can. But the good thing about Be My Eyes, or AI actually, the good thing about this app for Windows is that you can ask questions. So you'll get the initial description, but then you can say, okay, as I often do, what's my lighting like? And it will say if you're well lit or not, and it will give you a good description of that. You can ask it if there's anything in the background that maybe shouldn't be there. Is this suitable for a video meeting, for example? You can ask all those questions of the one picture from your screenshot that it takes when you do this. It's very, very good.
And these options have kind of superseded what I would consider to be the first time I heard about a feature like this. And it was all thanks to a guy called Ben Mustel-Rose, who developed an app called Can You See Me? We got a chance to talk to him way back when he developed this, and during the pandemic, actually, during the early stages of lockdown. And we got a chance to ask him the question why he developed it.
I find that sometimes if I'm in a meeting, particularly if I'm the only blind person there, historically I've always felt not uncomfortable with asking for help to make sure that my video is good, but it just feels a bit strange if you're the only one. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with asking for help, but it's also nice to have a choice. To decide whether that's something you want to do or whether you want to be able to do it independently. So yeah, I built Can You See Me to try and essentially give a version of what we have on iOS on Windows, to be honest.
And I think it's really interesting to hear that, because he talks about the fact that in his position, he's someone who, just needed something to confirm that. In his professional role, he wanted to know he was on camera properly, and he wanted a tool, and there was just nothing else out there at that time.
And he did it himself. I mean,
he built it himself.
Very intelligent, first off. But of course, we get more and more interested in this something when it's made by someone who's using the product because they need the product. So as you said, the first program I've seen that did something like this, and we do have other options now, but still, it was a great product.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier Jaws being genius to do this, but it was, I think, frankly, because of the work that someone like Ben Mussel-Rose did.
I think he was the first one to do it.
Brought that to the fore, that made this a thing that other companies followed. Now, from my understanding, NVDA doesn't have something like this. Is that right?
No, not that I've found. I'm not sure if there's anything in the NVDA add-on store, but I did a quick search for it. I didn't find anything, and it's definitely not a built-in, primary feature. So, yes, okay. There isn't one for NVDA.
Now, to the Mac, and there are, couple of options, I guess. One is actually built in. If you have, as I do, remember I bought the Studio Display, the most amazing monitor you could ever get for Apple, for a guy who can't see it. Isn't that hilarious? Well, yes, I did buy it. And it has got in there a webcam and speakers and microphones as well. So it's, fully laid up, ready to go with all the fancy tools. You connect to your MacBook or Mac Mini, I guess, or any Mac via a USB-C cable, Thunderbolt 4 cable, actually, to be precise. And it enables all these functionalities. And in there, in that particular monitor, it has an Apple processor, an actual processor that's the same you would find in one of the iPhones. That actually enables a feature called, and many features, but one called Center Stage. And that allows for the camera to follow you and track you, like your camera does. Your physical camera moves.
Yes.
But this is actually built in, and it uses AI technology to track you on screen. So it's really, really useful, and it means that you're always centered on screen. It is a little bit hit and miss sometimes. It's not perfect. Again, it's always about the position of the monitor, and of course, if you've got a Studio Display, you can raise and lower that monitor and adjust it. But you're not going to get audio feedback on that. That's one thing to note. You don't get audible feedback at all on your position on camera, I guess because it's assuming you don't need to worry too much about that, because it's almost taking care of it for you. But that's a very expensive way to make sure you're centered on camera. There is another way that is free.
Ooh.
You'll be pleased to hear.
I'm interested.
On any Mac, on any system, you don't need any special hardware for this, any webcam that's connected, anything at all, you can download an app called Centered Head. What Centered Head will do is it will essentially play a tone that will tell you whether or not you are centered or not. So you will hear your position on screen via a tone and a beep, and that beep will tell you where you are. So if it's off to the left, you know you're off to the left. If it's too far to the right, you'll know you're. And bear in mind, it's centered head, so it's giving you the best information it can about your centered position. I guess it's probably, and the way I imagine this to be built is that if the camera was too far, say for example the top of your head was only in shot, you wouldn't hear anything at all, right? It kind of built in a way that, although it can't tell you how high or low the camera is, it can tell you center position. So it's kind of got a very narrow parameter to find you in. So
yes.
It kind of that's how it tells you you're centered in both frame in terms of vertical and horizontal. So again, a really cool way of doing it, and saves you, I believe, around $1,500 on a brand new monitor, which I think is a wonderful idea.
You bought that. I can't believe it. Talk about buyer's remorse, although you still like it for some reason. I don't know what's the matter with you.
Well, my wife has it now. She loves it because she uses a Surface Pro for her work, and she can connect it up.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and I don't use it anymore. It's gone from me, which is fine. I don't need it anymore. It is absolutely fine. But I do find that on the Mac there is perhaps less features like this. I would love to see something like this appear in VoiceOver on the Mac. I don't see why it can't. But these are really important tools because these do give us the confidence that we're on camera. And the one thing I'll say about Centered Head, which is a kind of bonus over the PC versions of all the apps that are available, is that it will run when you're in other conversations. So if you're on a Zoom call or a Teams call, you can still check with Centered Head along the way. And I believe, and I could be wrong here, but I think Can You See Me can do that on the PC. I think you can check as you go, so you don't have to. I don't know how it does it.
I don't think so, but I'll be amazed if it can. But that's definitely something that would make it lift it above the others. If you want to check during a meeting, that's something I've never seen before. So that would be very cool. Also, of course, let's not forget, because what we're talking about here are, AI solutions, but you could also use Be My Eyes to call a human being, or if you've got
an actual human being.
I know, I don't know what I'm thinking. If you're lucky enough to have an Aira subscription, you could call an Aira agent and just, point your camera at your monitor if you have one and get them to check out what you look like. And, you could get real-time description of your shot as well, which I've done in the past as well.
Yeah, and if you don't have a screen, one of the benefits of Be My Eyes being on there, and you can also get the Aira app on there as well. You can Aira desktop. You can connect that way as well. I've got to say, there's something really important here to mention, and this is kind of a complete aside, but I have had so many issues with my PC being in clamshell mode that I actually ended up putting a monitor back on my desk for it, because I had so many issues with it not working with certain applications when the lid was closed. And the solution I found was a very cheap solution from Amazon called an HDMI dummy.
Yes.
This is not something you give a child. This is, what's the US term? Because our US audience won't know what I'm talking about. What do they call it? Pacifier.
Oh, yes, that's right, yes.
It's not an HDMI pacifier. And it also doesn't sound right when you say that. So it's an HDMI dummy. It basically gives the computer the impression it's connected to a monitor. It's tricking the computer. They're kind of built for servers, I guess, and systems that are not connected to monitors all the time. If they want to have the impression of being connected to a monitor, then you use an HDMI dummy. Extremely useful for me because the amount of times I would call up an Aira agent, for example, and connected via Aira desktop, and they couldn't see my screen. They'd say there's nothing there. There's no screen.
Because you don't have a physical screen, so the computer doesn't put out an image. But if it thinks you've got a physical screen, it will pump out the signal at least, and that's what they pick up on.
The WhatsApp app, for some reason, just doesn't work if you don't have a screen attached. I don't know why. It just does not work. So, HDMI dummies are really useful, kind of side note there, if you're ever having problems with visuals in your computer. Anyway, we're talking about top tips to looking good. I'll be honest, I don't want to go much further because I think we've talked a lot in the last 3 videos about lots of different things. I think what you now need to do is go try making some videos and see how you get on. Let us know how you do, because we're going to be doing, lots of cool stuff on our show. We love you. We want you to get involved in whatever way you can. And if it's audio, if it's video, if it's whatever, get in touch, try it out, let us know what you're doing, and we can help you along. We'll happily take some time out and we will, allow all of us to learn this new medium. Because what I really would love to see is not for us to get thousands of contributions. Of course, I'd love that. But what I'd really like is to see more people, more blind people appear on YouTube. It is one of the most prominent platforms for people to find new content these days. And we as blind people always say, and I say this on the show all the time, we need to be out there in the public eye. And this is one place we really need to be. So more blind people on YouTube, please. And if we can help you get there and set up your own channel and do your own thing, then we will be 100% behind you on that, and we'll help you in any way we can from a video point of view and from a recording and content point of view, of course.
Absolutely.
It's been a lot of fun doing this on YouTube, just kind of mucking around here as we've been doing for the last few months. I don't think either of us kind of believed we'd get to the point we'd say, let's do the whole show on here. But that's what we're going to do. Next time around here on YouTube will be the first episode of our brand new daily show. I mean, it's the daily show as it always has been, but with this new component of video. So it's very exciting. It's nerve-wracking.
Yes.
We're going to have to shave. wash our faces,
Well, let's not go
find
crazy.
clean clothes.
Maybe for the first week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
be fun.
no, it is going to be fun, yes. But of course, it doesn't matter if you're a fan of the old show, as it were, or the audio-only show, and you're slightly worried about this, please don't. That's the first thing we thought about. Things aren't going to change. It's just going to add an extra dimension. But if you can't see the screen, don't worry about it. The visuals really aren't important from the show point of view. It's just there to add extra because there's so many low vision people out there, you know, and it may add an extra aspect to it that's going to be useful. And plus, it's YouTube. It's a big platform.
Exactly. And, you know, not just low vision people either. People who are curious about our conditions, about our lives.
Yes. Yeah.
I want more people to hear the conversations we have, the honest, real conversations. You know, we've got to get past this idea of blind people being a separate world to everybody else, which is normal like you. And the more we can get that over to people, the better it can be for everybody. And that's why we need more voices on these platforms, telling the truth, talking about our experiences, being real, having fun, all that stuff. So we're really looking forward to it. So we'll catch you next time on YouTube for our Double Tap Daily Show. And I'm going to, I might grow my hair. I think I might grow my hair so that at least there's something there. Because right now, all you have is this huge forehead with a wisp of something at the top. Thank goodness I'm wearing headphones because that covers the baldy bit.
Good luck. We're all going for plastic surgery. We'll see you on YouTube.
Visual descriptions. Not coming soon. Catch you next time, Shaun. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.